And we are back here on the MMA Geeks C-Level podcast. Nick, we're going to talk about UFC 241, this fantastic godsend. I mean, if the MMA gods are angry at the world, Nick, they will make a bunch of injuries happen between now and fight night. If not, man, this card has so much to look forward to. I cannot possibly wait. I'd pay $60 for the prelims and then $60 again for the main card. And I'm going to share a little secret with you, Nick. I don't pay for a whole lot of pay-per-views.
I do because I'm ethical.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm a good human being.
Not only
these guys are fighting for their lives, and I want to make sure they get their cut. But hey,
I think integrity is for losers. Is that?
You're got full heel turn.
Is that
awful. I'm gonna have to. All right. Okay.
I'm trying to do an ever so slightly more likable Covington.
Well, I don't know about the ever so. It's a little bit like if you're more likable. I don't know.
My friend, if that is the best you can do, I can take it.
Oof.
I can take it.
Dude, I did not. I came with a knife to a gunfight apparently today. But maybe I'll find my nasty. It'll get back.
I'm looking forward to seeing more.
So from Anaheim, UFC 241, Cormier versus Miocic. We've seen this one before. It went 4 minutes and about 40 seconds. It was really exciting and interesting. Stipe looked strong. Cormier's hands look fast. They both landed. Stipe probably landed more, but Cormier's 1-2s were fast and stunned the shit out of Miocic. They both had moments against the cage. Really good fight. Cormier using his dirty boxing, going from an overhook to an underhook, kind of pulled Stipe into a really quick right hand. And followed it up with extremely precise, vicious ground and pound, a right, left, right, if I recall. And what's going to happen in this? Miocic's first fight since that fight, so it's been a while for him, and potentially Cormier's last fight of his career. Since that fight, he beat Derek Lewis. That was it? All he did was fight Derek Lewis?
That's all.
Yeah. So he beat Derek Lewis while he was injured pretty easily, just with basically ankle picked him to death.
I mean, there's a reason he took that fight, and it wasn't because he thought it was a challenge.
Yeah. So what's going to happen? It's been over a year. 13 months. Yeah,
so Stipe, first of all, I love that Stipe, after getting knocked out for the first time in a long time, took a goddamn year off.
Since Stefan Struve knocked him out.
Right, which was 4 or 5 years ago, I think. So Stipe Miocic versus Daniel Cormier, the first fight, as I was saying, I'm glad, first of all, that Miocic took this year off. I know it was partially a negotiating thing, and partially he was confident that he could get the rematch without having to fight somebody in between and risk it, right? Risk the big pay-per-view revenue. And he's got it here. I'm glad he's getting it, especially since he is the only UFC champion in the company's history that has been able to defend that heavyweight belt 3 times in a row.
Brock Lesnar. I don't think Brock Lesnar is a nice guy. We do not share a lot of commonalities, but I am a Brock Lesnar fan. As a fan of both sports, entertainment, and combat sports. That said, it would have been a major miscarriage of justice, and I think a real layup fight for Cormier to fight Brock. And I'm very happy that did not happen.
Yeah, I agree with you. Look, would it have been a huge fight? Would it have been a great payday for Cormier? Yes. But the UFC loves the man. They're rewarding him in every way possible. If Daniel Cormier is confident enough to tell John Jones that Daniel Cormier made more money in one fight than John Jones does in 3, the UFC is really taking care of him. They're getting him jobs with ESPN. Dana White loves this guy. And it's because Daniel Cormier knows how to build those relationships. Yeah,
he's great. He's great at promoting fights. He's
okay at promoting fights. He's not exactly a star. He doesn't exactly bring the numbers in, if we're going to be honest. But he's a super likable guy. He's a smart guy. He's affable. He's everything you would want in a champion.
He's a great analyst.
He's a great analyst. Besides, maybe he doesn't look awesome getting off the bus, because on paper he's a kind of a short, stocky guy. But man,
for heavyweights, I think that's always been
true. But even at light heavyweight, he looked short and stocky.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
right.
DC again. He's going to come down. He's going to come. Go down as a legend in the sport. No doubt he's going to get a first ballot UFC Hall of Fame spot. I actually think this might be his retirement fight, Nick. Although I will say the UFC throwing a bunch of money at him per fight, I'm sure on the front end especially. I'm sure that'll go a long way in persuading him to take another fight or two, especially if it's against guys closer to Derek Lewis than a Stipe and John Jones. DC looked good with his pressure. It seemed like it was fairly back and forth, and it seemed like both guys were landing in that first bout. And we don't have a whole lot of tape to watch on Miocic after. But what we did see is that DC has a little bit more speed. I'm having a really hard time with this pick, to be honest with you. When they fought a year ago, I picked Stipe, and I felt good about it. I felt like DC has been hurt a bunch of times in his bouts, even though he's only been knocked out that one time against John Jones. He's been hurt a bunch of times in his fights, and I felt like Stipe's power should be enough. It did seem like DC was rolling with the punches well enough in their first bout, so that definitely takes some of that concern away. However, Stipe did look like he had the strength advantage in the clinch against the cage. But then again, in this clinch is exactly where DC, as you alluded to, was able to pull Stipe right into his Dan Henderson-like right hand. DC's not known for getting knockouts at light heavyweight, but he seems to have serious power if he weighs about 250, 260 pounds. I'm going to say DC here is probably going to be by decision unless Stipe's chin is ruined. I'm going to give the edge to DC, knowing that it could easily go the other way. It could easily go toward the guy with the 6-inch height advantage and the 8-inch reach advantage. But I will stick with DC and hope to give him a nice send-off in retirement. Although, for Stipe's sake, I hope that if he does lose, it's a super close decision that could go either way. What do you think, Nick?
Again, I think I won't be surprised if Stipe beats him. He's had a year to think about nothing but this, to train, to fight fires, just to work. And I just believe that as a combat sports athlete, Cormier's craftiness is, I just think he's a better chess player. And I think it unlikely that he's going to get just knocked out the way that like Fabricio Verdun did. I think he's better. I think he's better at keeping distance. I think he's better at rolling away from punches. So I think we're going to get a repeat of what happened. I think it'll probably go the distance. It could be a split decision. I wouldn't be surprised if DC catches him again in one of those exchanges. But I'm picking Daniel Cormier.
On the same
Not
page,
with tons of confidence, but I'm picking Daniel.